For 3 months I've been using this tool. It's about time I told you guys what I think of it. G'day guys, you might have seen this in a few other videos over the past few months, and I am finally going to do the full review on it. This is the new Makita 40V UB001G Blower. And if you like blowing stuff, this is the tool for you. After I give you a few of the details about this thing, we will do some runtime tests on the different batteries, see how long they last. We'll then put it up against, look at that, isn't it cute? It looks so small compared to that. And we'll also put it up against this 18V version of roughly the same size tool. Now this is a great little tool for around your workshop, your garage, that sort of thing, blowing out your car, all sorts of stuff. It's handy for so many little things. It's good for cleaning tools when you've got them covered in dust and stuff. And I usually have this attachment here on it, and that's good for doing leaves and stuff out in your garden. Gives you a bit more length and that better angle for getting stuff. But if you really want to blow stuff around, that ain't all that good. This puppy, boy oh boy, can she blow. This thing can shift 16 cubic meters of air a minute. By comparison, this one does 13 cubic meters per minute, and the little one here does 2.6. So if you like how much this little blower blows, just imagine a blower that is more than 6 times more powerful. That's what this thing is, 6 times more airflow. So as well as that, it has an adjustable nozzle on the end, so you can change the length. You can get it right off like that, so that's short. Shove this on and you can have it right back there, and you've got a nice long one and a couple of spots in between, depending on how long your legs are. I'm just going to take that off to make the video a little bit easier. As you can see, quite a big nozzle here compared to, when you look at the ends there, it's just, yeah, I mean that tells a story, doesn't it? It of course runs on all the Makita batteries, the 2.5, 4 and 5 amp hour, but I recommend if you're using this thing to use the 4 or 5 amp hour batteries because it sucks through the juice pretty darn quick. It is IPX4 rated, which basically means you can get it slightly wet, you know, splashes of water, bit of rain, it'll be okay. But don't leave it sitting out in the rain obviously, but you can use it while it's drizzling away and you should be all good. And the same goes for the battery. Unlike the other two models I have shown you, this one has an on button. Once you have turned it on there, you can then pull the trigger, or we have this trigger lock style system here, which is you push this forward, it will just ramp up the speed and it'll hold the trigger at wherever you want. I'm not going to crank it right up now because I'll blow everything else off the bench. But if you put this right up to high, you can still get an extra burst by pulling the trigger. What I find, it's pretty good to use, just push that right up to the top, and that does most jobs perfectly fine. If you want that extra little bit of power, tap the trigger and you'll get a little bit more. It's sort of like a turbo boost. Now I know some of you are going to be saying, oh, I hate these buttons and they turn off by themselves and you got to pick it up to use it and you got to push the button again, blah blah blah. It takes a long time to time out on this particular tool. I'm not sure how long, I haven't actually timed that, but it's not the sort of tool you put down and pick up, put down and pick up that often. You sort of pick it up, you do the job, and that's that. So while you're holding it in your hand, you're not going to have a problem with that light going off, okay? I've put it down before, left it for, I don't know, it's quite a number of minutes. I don't know how many. But don't panic, it's a non-issue. Unlike these little ones that have the air coming through the side, this large 40V one has the air come through the back. Now that poses a slight problem in a way. This, I find, you know, it sucks your clothing in the side. It's a bit annoying. Well, I find this does the same thing. I tend to hold it out in front of me and often it sucks onto the leg of my pants or something like that. And it's got a fair bit of suck, I tell you. Green light's still going. As well as blowing leaves and stuff, it's great for cleaning out drains, I've found. So concrete drains and gutters and stuff, boy oh boy, you can blow shit out of them pretty damn fast. But when it comes to trying to film that sort of thing, it makes a hell of a mess. So I don't want to spray the camera with shit all the time. I do that enough as it is. So yeah, I haven't really filmed it. Or every time I've used it, I've thought, I should have filmed that, and now it's too late. And on my property here in Auckland, I don't have trees that drop leaves at any time of the year, so I don't have a lot of leaves I've got to blow around. But to try and show the difference between this one and the other two I've just shown you, I decided to take this thing to the beach. But before we head off to the beach, you may have seen me use this in the video I did for the Makita battery checker. If you haven't seen the battery checker video, I'll put it up in the top corner and down in the description. Very cool little unit. So I used this to drain the batteries when I was doing that test. And so let's have a look how long each of the batteries lasted. The wind is blowing pretty hard today, but not as hard as this thing. 230 kilometers an hour this thing does at its maximum, which is what, about 140-ish miles per hour. Now in the following runtime tests, I'm going to use this cruise control lever here. We're going to run them on the highest up there, which isn't the highest. You can then go a little bit further by pulling the trigger, but we're going to just use the cruise control, which runs the tool at a maximum of 13.5 meters per second. And it's 16 if we do the full trigger pull. So the battery was on 16 before we started. Let's see how warm it is now after 6 minutes of running. Completely flat, and holy moly, are you kidding me? 75 degrees Celsius in there. Holy shit. 25% more runtime off the next one, and see what the temperature is going to be. So runtime seemed to be pretty linear so far, as you'd expect with the 4 amp hour. I haven't checked the footage, but it looks to be running at double the 2 amp hour. So as you see, they don't last very long. You don't get a lot of blow for your buck, although it blows material around pretty quick, so you don't need to run it that long compared to something like this, which takes a long time to move the same amount of material. So in that regard, you know, for anything I've ever needed it for, the batteries have lasted long enough. But always make sure you've got a spare battery with you if you are using this tool, because it blows hard and it sucks batteries hard. I just noticed something on this, and so I've taken the back off here to show you. This isn't plastic, it's an open cell foam, quite a soft one. And yeah, so is that for some sort of sound dampening? Or was it just to get the baffle right here, get the angles right, so that the air would flow the right direction? Maybe it was an afterthought. Maybe it didn't quite go to plan to begin with and they've added that later. I don't know. Interesting. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments. Now let's take it to the beach and see how much sand it can move. When it comes to noise, it's not too bad. It's better than a petrol one, that's for sure. And with it not being petrol, you also don't have any of the fumes and having to top up with petrol and the heat associated with petrol tools. That's what annoys me in some of the heat that comes off petrol tools. I used to use a backpack blower all the time, and boy oh boy, the weight and the heat and everything just gets a bit much. This thing is light. Even with a 5 amp hour battery, it's quite easy to handle. It looks like a heavy thing, but it's mostly air through here. It's just a big hollow tube essentially. Let's see if we can fit it on the scale here. So there, 2.26 kgs. That's pretty light. In pounds, that's about 5 pounds, I think. If you're using it all day and weight is an issue, there is a loop here and here so that you can have a strap on it. Not something I've had to do because I don't use it that long, and like I say, I find it's a very light, easy tool to use. By comparison, weight-wise, let's just see. 1.23, so it's only 1 kg. This big bugger is only 1 kg heavier than that. When you look at the size difference, that's pretty impressive. And the power difference, super impressive. So hopefully those shots on the beach showed you that this thing has a lot more power than the other two. Although the 18 volt's pretty good. But this is around 25% better than that 18 volt one. So I found it a super nice tool to use, quick and easy to just blow shit around and move so much in such a quick period of time. But like I say, sucks through the batteries. But then again, all tools like this do. Even this little one, when I did tests on that years ago, I mean, they suck through the juice pretty quick too. So thanks for watching, guys. That's another Makita 40 volt XGT review. Got a couple of real special ones coming up in the next couple of videos. So make sure you are subscribed if you like Makita stuff. And check out my other channel where I do little things you guys ask for. If you've got a request and you want to see things done, you want to check something, somebody hasn't mentioned it, I forgot to mention it, you just want to know something that hasn't been done in another video, let me know on this channel up here and I might just do it. That's what I do on that channel, little requests and stuff people want to know about. So, subscribe to this, subscribe to that, and I'll see you on another one real soon. And now, as seems to be the routine, I'm going to put scenery at the end.